steady and true, choosing each other in all that we move.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this next segment, this next series of Love in Motion. Today, we have this amazing couple that I had the privilege of meeting, I guess, about 5 or 6 years ago. They did a photo shoot for my husband's birthday, and we did family photos. And we have sort of maintained a friendship since then, kind of, sort of. But I am so thankful and happy that you all agreed to do this with me. This was a vision that was given to me to talk about love in motion. And so we're going to start with you introducing yourselves. I'm going to say this is Joy and Jessica, but they are going to introduce themselves, and then we'll get right into the series.
Okay, you go first. All right. Well, I'm Joy Phillips, and well, this is my wife. What's your name?
Jessica Phillips.
What is your name? Okay. So, tell me how you guys met.
It was on Yahoo Personals, 2006.
About between April and May.
Yeah,
So, yes.
a different type of online meeting at that time. I don't even know if they still have Yahoo Personals.
Yeah.
But yeah, around April, May 2006, met up, started talking, and then September 2006.
Yeah, we met in person,
Uh-huh.
and
Wait. So you met online in April or May,
Mhm.
but you didn't meet in person until September.
uh-huh.
I want to make sure I heard that right. Okay, go ahead. I was just making sure.
Yeah,
That's okay.
yeah, and we met in person. Yeah, she actually spent the night. Spent the weekend actually, and I think, I mean, for me, I knew then when I started talking to Jessica that I loved her and I wanted to be with her, but I had just got out of a relationship, so I was scared. And so I didn't tell her. But when we met in person, it just, everything kind of just worked. I knew she was my person. And so I asked her if she'd be my girlfriend. And then I realized after she left that weekend, I couldn't live without her. So
Oh,
we moved in together in October of 2006, and here we are.
so you met on Yahoo Meet. Of course, this was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So on Yahoo Meet, was it a visual? Were you seeing each other, or was it just talking and you did not know what each other looked like other than pictures? Was it like things are now, or was it more static?
Yeah, it was more we saw what each other looked like. She thought I was taller than I was.
Well, so okay. So when you do the description of yourself at that time, they didn't have it where you could put your actual height. It was a range, but I'll take fault in it. I just assumed she was more on the taller side of that range.
So
Was it something that she said to make you think that, or you wanted in your mind to have someone tall? Because I'm confused. If there's a range, why would you pick the higher range?
I have always said I could have sworn that she said she was a little taller than what she is. She said she's never said that. It's all been on me. I said, fine, I'll take that. Maybe I just went with it on my own, I guess. But I really wasn't. It's interesting that I decided to talk to her anyway with that range because I didn't like talking to people shorter than me.
So I guess that means that Joy is shorter than you.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And you didn't find that out until you started on Yahoo Meet April or May.
She didn't know I
And
was
you
the
didn't
shortest.
meet each other until September.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What took so long for you to decide to meet each other in person? Especially on your side, Joy, since you said that you knew she was your person, but yet it took you 5
Well,
months?
when we started talking, I didn't have my own place. I was still going through some transitional things
Okay.
personally. and I didn't have my own place, and I didn't have a car. And so that kind of made things difficult. And then it just came to a point where I was, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, best friend, Frankie, who's since passed, but he was very instrumental in kind of getting me back on my feet. I was staying with him, and I got to a financial position where I could get my first place, and so I did, and that kind of just made it a little easier. And again, she didn't have a car, neither did I. So our relationship initially, I think like for the first 2 years was dark.
Yeah.
So, you know,
So,
yeah.
and Jessica, you knew, even you knew you all hadn't met, you knew of this transition that she was going through, but
Mhm.
yet you each knew that each other was going through a transition,
Right.
but yet you stuck in there all those months before you actually could meet each other in person. So this kind of makes this next question kind of a two-part.
Okay.
It's, what was your first impression of each other, your online impression of each other, and then next part B to that question is, what was your impression of each other when you finally met in person, and did it change?
Um, so I will say her profile picture is what initially made me click on it. I found her attractive. The I guess you would call it, I guess your interest section, or stuff about me or whatever it was, put in there. We had similar likes, music. She loved music. At that time, just more so, seemed more so of a homebody. That's not the word she used, but and for me, like she said, she was going through what she was going through, but I was still staying with my grandparents because that's who raised me. And didn't have a car either, because so I'm like, okay, well, this might work. Seems like that we like some of the same things. I'm still kind of learning myself, figuring myself out, because I was 21. So yeah. And then of course, sending that message, exchanging numbers, and then actually speaking with her, it was just different. It was a different vibe from when I was talking to the other females that I had talked to. And I was like, okay, well, it's something, it's almost like a pull that was pulling me, kept me wanting me to be invested into it. So then of course get to meeting in person in September, and I was
Oh, she's short. Was that your first thought?
yeah,
But it was too late.
it was. I was like, I said, no, that's not her. I said, yeah, that's her. I said, okay. I said, fine, we're gonna go ahead and go with it. We just gonna go with it. Cause it's like, also too, I didn't want to just be mean and be like, you are shorter than what you are. I don't want to do this. Cause that's not what I felt anyway. I did feel like, okay, yes, you are shorter, but I'm just still gonna go with it and see what's gonna happen. And I'm happy I did, because it was a fun weekend.
Yeah.
Fun weekend for us at that time. We rode dart, went to what was it, Target?
Yeah. We went to
Target, because I bought some stuff for her apartment.
Yeah.
It was just like, I almost want to say magical, but it doesn't sound magical. But to me, in that moment, again, because I'm 21, I'm feeling this weird feeling in the at that moment. I didn't know, it was like, oh, I think I might really want to do this with this person. It might be love. It might, because honestly, I didn't really know. I had experiences of what I thought was love, but it just felt different. And so I was like, okay, well, let me go on and push through.
Yeah.
So your online impression of her was the same when you met her in person, other than the height.
Other
You
than the
still felt the same way as you did in your Yahoo Meet and in your phone calls.
Yes.
All right, Joy. I can't believe Jessica is talking so much. Okay, Joy.
I do.
Well, I think for me, I was just on Yahoo Personal just because. And so, because she made the inquiry to reach out to me, and I have never been a person a lot of texting. I like to talk. So as soon as I could, the opportunity presented itself, we exchanged numbers. But my thought going into this with Jessica was not a relationship. And it was because I had just gotten out of a relationship. So I was just looking for fun. And so, of course, the pictures I saw, I was like, okay, she's young. And I think it did give age on there. And I was like, okay. And so I think to me, I was just like, okay, well, she's young. It's just, fun, and that'll be it. So we talked. But Jessica's conversation at the age that she wasn't typical of a 21-year-old. Jessica's extremely intelligent. I knew that then. And so I still was like, okay, I was trying to keep myself just fun, just not doing that. And I think we talked every day for a long time. We fell asleep on the phone with each other. And at some point I knew, I was like, I love her, but I didn't want to say it. And so then, like I said, then the opportunity came for us to meet. I got my own place and she came over and spent the weekend. And for me, in relationships that I had been to prior to Jessica, it was me giving, everything, and, others just taking.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I think that was a part of the reason why I was like, this is just we just gonna have fun, because I don't want any attachments at this point. But she came over. It was, like I said, my first apartment. I didn't have hardly anything in there. And Jessica was like, well, we'll get up and we'll go to Target. And it sounds, somebody else might be like, oh, that's nothing. But it meant the world to me for her to say, let me do something for you. Let me buy you some groceries and, some sheets. I think I had a fitted sheet and a blanket, and she bought me sheets, and that meant everything to me. And in that moment, I was like, you'd be a fool to let her go. And I know a lot of people people say it like love at first sight. I don't know that it was that, because my mind wasn't there.
Right.
But I allowed, even though in my mind I saw something different, my heart, saw, knew better than what I did. And so I'm grateful that I allowed my heart to be open and to understand what love was, to be able to receive love the way I give love, because I hadn't had that. But I also thank God for those others, because had I not known what it felt like not to be appreciated, I wouldn't have known how to appreciate what she was doing for me. And I think that made it easier, because she saw something different, or she had a need that she saw and I saw it too, and it just worked. And so I'm privileged in that, because really, had it not been for Jessica clicking on my picture, I don't know, honestly, where she'd be, where I'd be, so.
So you've already kind of answered my next question. When did you realize this was more than casual? Because you all situation is pretty unique, because you already knew, well, Jessica felt like it was going to be more than casual. You were fighting it. And I get it, because sometimes baggage makes you fight things.
Yeah.
So, and we all have it. No matter how, if you're young, if you're old, somebody always has baggage, whether it's relationship baggage, family baggage, or whatever. But because you each saw something, and it's kind of weird to say that you saw something, because you hadn't even met each other, which to me makes that love you all have for each other even more powerful. Because, well, we'll get into that later. But So, what, if anything, almost stopped it from happening? I mean, you've kind of answered that because of your fear, but was there anything for you, Jessica, that almost stopped it from happening? And we've already talked about what felt familiar, but is there anything other than Joy's fear that happened to make this kind of not happen? I don't want to do this.
The
And
only
if not, I mean, it's fine if not.
No, it was a slight hesitation when she was like, move in with me or whatever. And I was like, ooh, I gotta tell my grandparents. I don't know how this gonna go. And then, because it all happened real quick.
Mm.
From April, May, all the way October. Oh, we moving in together. And they were very protective, and I was somewhat sheltered as well. Like, but I really want to do this. And it's like, I don't want to get into it with them if they say I don't need to do it. And then it was just a moment where I was just like, if this is what you want, you have to stand your ground and just do it. Be respectful with it, because my parents did put fear, my grandparents put that fear in me. Like, I didn't want no problems. I didn't want to get in trouble or nothing growing up. But that was the only little hang up that I had. And even then, it didn't linger that long for me to, that was it.
All right. And you, Joy, other than what you've already said?
I think that was it. I think once I asked her to be my girlfriend, once she said yes, I already saw a future. And so, and it's not like we have a huge age difference, but I feel like my life experiences at that time kind of matured me a little bit. So I had already made up my mind. If she was willing to, then we were going, and we weren't going to, and it wasn't going to be I knew that if we were going to do this, that we were going to be together for the rest of our lives. That's what I saw. And, and that's what I strive for on a daily basis. I'm a person who, people ask, I hear people say, love is hard and this and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not I don't want to say religious, but I do have a relationship with God, and I do think, from my perspective and what I've read biblically, God doesn't say that love is hard. He says love is patient. He says love is kind. Mm-hmm. He doesn't say anything, love is so hard. I feel like the work that you have to put into a relationship, it does get strained. It becomes difficult because you're not going to see eye to eye on everything. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that you're supposed to, but I think every day that I wake up with Jessica, I remember every day that I love her and that I'm in love with her. And then we move on from that point, but we always start with that. We start with love. Hey, you love me? I love you. Okay, well, all right. I know you're mad, but or I know you don't want to do it this way, or I know you don't feel this way, but we love each other. So let's just, and it's okay to be mad, to be silent, to, deal with your issues, but we love each other. And I think that's a part of it.
So love isn't perfection. It's choosing each other through growth and challenge. This ends part 1 to This Is Love in Motions. Be sure to come back next week for this part 2 of Joy and Jessica Phillips' journey in their love.